This is a video for a few people in my stream that wanted me to make a video slash guide on my Demon Hunter build. So I'm gonna start off with my gear. Any of these three will work for the Marauder set build. You can either use any of these weapons. These are like pretty much best in slot for this build, personal opinion. Why the Manticore? Because it comes with base crit hit damage. As you can see, there's nothing re-rolled on this weapon. So if you put like an emerald in there, you'll get probably like 163% crit hit damage. Calamity, because of the proc when you just shoot your multi-shot, which you're going to need. I'll get into that later. The proc marks everything with Mark for Death, so I'll be showing you guys that. And this weapon right here is like, I think it's the third strongest two-handed crossbow in the game. But going over my gear, I'm using the Marauder's gloves. I rerolled for crit hit damage. You want high crit hit chance in this build, and crit damage too. I went with the Marauder's shoulders. I rerolled for sentry damage. You don't have to reroll for sentry damage, but I think it would be better. Again, sentry damage. I'm using the chest piece of Marauders. I'm using the head piece of Marauders. I went for crit chance. Amulet, I got a really good one. Crit hit chance and crit damage. You want fire skill damage as high as you can get, as much as of it you can get to. I went with Reaper Reps with, again, fire skill damage. Quiver, this is not required for the build, but it is definitely a bonus accessory. Bombarder's rucksack, sorry. The proc one is you can have just 2 additional sentries. So with this, you can have up to 4. You can probably have up to 5 if you use the passive skill. I think it's custom engineering. Yeah, custom engineering. Going back to my gear. I'm using a Hellfire ring. Any ring is fine as long as it has crit hit chance or crit hit damage. It's fine. I'm using a Ring of Royal, trifecta. It's pretty nice. This is important. Not required. You can run all 6 pieces, but I'm only running 5. And I'm using this ring to complete the whole set bonus. I'm using the Marauder's boots. And I'm using hexing pants. Now this also isn't required. But the proc on it's like, it's best in slot for a Demon Hunter if you're running this Marauder build, because you're constantly moving around. You're not going to just sit in one place while the turrets shoot. I mean, you can, but chances are in T6 you'll probably die. Another thing is I went with all res in my pants and my my armor, only because in this patch Demon Hunters aren't tanky enough. Like, they used to have dodge chance, but it got taken out and we didn't get armor in replace, which we'll get in 2.1. And I'm using a Harrington's Waistguard. The proc on it's really amazing. You can pretty much double your damage. Going over my skills, I'm using a Cluster Arrow, and I'm using Loaded for Bear. You want to stack fire damage on this build. I'm using Multi-Shot with the Rune of Arsenal. Once again, fire damage. This skill right here is, you don't have to use this. I only use it because I'm using a Channon Bolter, and the proc is Spike Traps lure enemies to them. That's the only reason why I'm using this. You can go with Preparation, so you can have max discipline, so you can keep rolling around, or you can go with whatever else. But this does 520 weapon damage as fire, 520%. I'm using Vault and the rune Tumble, sorry. You can use either smokescreen. I've seen people use smokescreen with this. Vault, it doesn't matter. Um, you need companion. It's part of your Marauder set bonus, and it doesn't matter which rune you pick or whatever, because they're all gonna be out at the same time. And Sentry, I'm using Spitfire turret. Once again, fire damage. It's like a pattern. You want to stack your elemental damage. In particular for this build, fire, I'll be showing you guys the cold build one. Steady aim is one of my passives. The other one is ballistics, perfectionist, and awareness. Basically during this build, you just wanna, if you're using hexing pants, you want to keep moving. Either way, you want to keep moving. I'll just show you. This is on T6, and I'll walk you through how to set your sentries and stay alive. Done. This does look easy, by the way I'm doing it, but I've been doing it for so long.
Enemies of the Nephilim surround.
Immediately, your pets are going to start attacking stuff, like without me just laying down a turret. But when you lay down one, it's going to start casting your hatred spenders if you have the full set bonus. I'm not hitting anything other than Volt, and it's just casting my hatred spenders. You see it shooting cluster arrow, multi-shot, and regular arrow. But basically, I'll show you once these guys are killed. It's shooting your cluster arrow, which is that, and your multi-shot. And that's just one turret. So if you have some good CDR, you can send out some more. With this Channon Bolter, it's nice because I can just lay down that trap, and then they all run to it. So that pretty much takes the heat off of me. I can just sit back, but if I keep moving around, I'll do more damage with the Hexing Pants. So Channon Bolter is a really nice accessory to this build, but like I said, it's not required. I'll show you with the Calamity. It's also nice. You shoot stuff, it gets that mark for death above their head, and that's going to do more damage. The mark for death skill is... I would take the long way, right? Marks an enemy. The enemy mark takes 20% additional damage for the next 30 seconds. But if you have a Calamity and you want to run this build, it's perfectly fun. But I'm gonna go back to Channon Bolter. And while you're doing this, don't be afraid to use your hatred spenders, which is cluster arrow, spike trap if you're using it, and multi-shot. Because you generate hatred pretty fast, especially if you're using Reaper Wraps. When you get a health globe, your hatred's gonna be refunded. Not all the way, but it's gonna be like a good amount.
Not ready yet.
Basically, let your turrets do most of the damage. You don't have to worry about doing too much damage yourself. Your turrets are gonna do majority of the work. If you're ever in some shit, just vault through people, not take any damage. So don't be scared to use that vault. Like I said, just keep yourself at a distance and let your turrets. That's just one turret. If I have up 3 or 4, they do so much. You'll melt a Rift Guardian. I'll show you when we get to the Rift Guardian. Also, using the companion button. That's a really big asset. I'll show you before I even hit it. If you're ever taking like a lot of damage and stuff is just hoarding on you and you're not using Spike Trap, if you hit the companion button, each one of your companions active will come in effect. So if you're using the spider, it's going to throw the web and it's going to slow them by 80% for 5 seconds. Bat is going to give you 50 hatred, like right off as soon as you activate it. Your board companion is going to taunt all enemies within 20 yards for 5 seconds. So for those 5 seconds, everything's going to be attacking your boar. Your ferret's going to grab all the gold and health globes within 60 yards. Once again, if you're using Reaper Wraps, that's going to restore your hatred if there's any health globes nearby that you can't get to. And your wolf increases your damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So I'll show you what I mean here. They already like take some pretty good aggro, but when you hit the button, the spider came in effect. The boar's taunt came in effect. If you look at your damage, my damage earlier is like 15 or 1.5 mil, but it boosted up to 1.8 mil.
I'm still waiting.
Like I said, the pets do.
Fear betrays you.
They don't do a lot. But like I said, you don't have to have hexing pants. If you use Taskers and Theos, I'm sure your pets will hit a little bit harder. But I'd rather use hexing pants than Taskers and Theos because your damage is increased by 25%. That's really hard to beat. So like I said, you just have a lot of stuff on you, and you just trying to like get everything off you. Let's try and lure these guys over. Just stand here. Just hit that button, and everything goes to them. Just sit back, throw some turrets, kite back, do your thing. Cluster Arrow is your strongest attack if you're stacking fire damage again. And also another big thing is if you have O'Harrington Waistguard, wear it because the proc is really amazing. Just opening chest or anything or running over stuff that can activate like the Harrington's proc. So I'll go through this a little bit faster. Like I said, you can use Spike Trap or you can use Preparation. I'll show you what. Preparation instantly restores your discipline, or you can use the rune that restores 75 hatred for 25 discipline. It's really all up to you, your preference. You don't have to use Spike Trap, but I'm using it because I have the Shannon Bolter. So immediately as soon as I see a pack, I want to throw that Spike Trap out. That's going to lure everything to them. And if stuff is getting a little bit too close and I'm not comfortable, is when you want to throw your companions. Set your turrets up and just let them do all the damage. You'll have those few that chase you, but just keep running. You can bolt away. It's a really nice skill. Create some distance. And I should have said this earlier, but while you're using steady aim, if you just stay within 10 yards, all damage is like increased by 20%. So bolting away is really nice with this build. So immediately Spike Trap, set a turret.
Not ready yet.
Not afraid to use. Don't be afraid to use your hatred. You'll get that faster than discipline. Discipline you have to be a little bit more cautious with, because you can burn through a lot of it if you're not careful. Like I said, when you get uncomfortable, stuff just getting too close is when you just want to use your all the groups do restore you. Quick thing, I'll just show you this beforehand. I don't know if I have a Nephilim. I have Nephilim Glory. I have 9 seconds on it, but I'll show you. Alright, so without a Nephilim Glory, my damage is 1,051,000. When I'm moving around, because of my hexing pants, I get an extra 500k DPS. And not moving around, just using a Harrington, say you don't have hexing pants. Look at your damage now. It's like basically doubled. So if you have hexing pants and you're moving, you have about almost 3 million DPS. So hexing pants are good to have, but they're not required. You can still do this build on T6 without hexing pants and Taskers and Theo.
I'm still waiting.
Like I said, the spike traps and the Cannon Bolter work really well hand in hand. But the more turrets you have down, the more damage you're gonna do. So if you can get 4 down,
Need more time.
it's really good.
Sweet revenge.
Golden. I have 2 down right now, and then everything's already dying.
I'm still waiting.
Consistently want to be moving. You don't want to be stuck in one spot. If possible, never try and corner yourself neither. That's always bad. You're just going to have to make sure you have enough discipline to keep holding out of stuff. So also position yourself really well. Like I said, I like to use my hatred spenders. You don't have to, but you'll clear stuff a lot faster. Although the turrets do most of the damage, adding on to that won't. You get your hatred back faster than anything. Run out of hatred really fast. Like I said, use Reaper Wraps. Reaper Wraps are going to restore your hatred. They won't restore discipline, but they'll restore hatred.
Not ready yet.
Everything just gets melted. You'll see crit hits range between 7 mil to up to the biggest crit I've seen with everything in effect, like Harrington and my companion. I've seen like 108 mil crits. This is on T6, and I can run through this a lot faster. But like I said, I'm trying to go really slow. Make sure you guys understand this build. You can get Reaper Wraps if you don't already have them, and by killing Matthew at the end of Act 5. Drops the plans and you just have to make them. You ideally want to stack fire damage. I'll be showing you guys the cold build, the same for other sets.
I'm still waiting. Need more time. Not ready yet.
But I personally think that if you have a Cannon Bolter, this build works best. But that's just my personal opinion. But it all comes down to preference and how you play.
I'm still waiting.
You also want to have all resistance. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you want to have high crit hit chance and crit damage. I'll just show you mine really fast. shit, I passed it. Crit hit chance is at 60%, and my crit damage is at plus 473%. This is on T6. Freezing good,
Not ready yet.
really easy. If there's anything I didn't cover in this video, just let me know and I'll be sure to answer any questions you have.
You won't survive that! I need more hatred to do that. Need more time. Feel my wrath!
Yeah, I'm gonna post the whole video up. No worries. I'm gonna do one more video for Cold Skill. That one's a little bit harder, I'm not gonna lie. Well, at least in this patch. In the next patch, it's gonna be a really good build. It might be better than the Fire. But it is still possible in this patch. Not as effective, but it is still a really good build.
Need more time.
Like,
I'm
the way I
still
play, if I
waiting.
see a health globe nearby,
I am well again.
I will start casting the shit out of my hatred spenders. Because you're just gonna get all that right back.
You won't survive that!
Dead Man's Legacy. Ugh.
Need more time.
Back in Vanilla, man, those were best in slot. I actually got the Cannon Bolter through the mail. Somebody actually sent me a random gift, and then
Not ready yet.
it was a Cannon Bolter. This is a bad area to fight a fucking
I
Yep.
must wait longer.
horrible area to fight a fucking Rift Guardian. But once you get 3 turrets up, it's like over. He's already almost dead. It would have went a lot faster if I was using the spike trap, but I didn't use it. Still cleared it pretty well. And
I need to go back.
but like I said, this build works really well without the Chain and Bolter too, but I think it works best with the Chain and Bolter.
The blood run.
It's also best in slot and one of the rarest.